Caught red-handed. Eating like a dick.
Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. Sorry if you don't have, if you're not watching on the YouTube channel, you wouldn't have gotten that initial joke. But yeah, I got caught red-handed at our race yesterday, eating a donut. It was at our 4th of July parade. Right after, Carrie Rogers, sabotaged. Her husband handed me the donut. She took the picture. Look, it was after a race, all right? it was recovery carbs, man. It was recovery carbs. Give me a break. But yeah, there it is. We talk so much about the importance of diet and food, and then I get caught eating a donut, memorialized in a photograph. Thank you, Carrie Rogers, for that little, catching that little moment of indiscretion for everyone to see. Anyway, yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. You know, the one thing I wanted to bring up was we started doing short videos on our YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please check it out if you can. We did 2 shorts last week. One of them was the Don't Eat Like a Dick short. That really, it worked out really well. It came out really well, I thought. It was kind of a condensed version of the entire podcast. It was the entire 35 minutes condensed into one, but I just took some pieces of it, and it came out. It was really funny. I thought it was really funny. Check it out if you haven't done so already. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. It really helps us out. It could really use the subscribers there. So thank you guys for watching, and keep coming back, because I think it's something that we want to build out. It's a structure that we want to build out. That was a recommendation from the folks over at Sienna, the students at Sienna, that we should be doing more short videos or clips. And we're going to be doing all of that stuff, more of that stuff on the YouTube channel. We'll be feeding it through over the next few weeks. I think our TikTok channel is going to be coming out soon too. It's set up somewhere. My daughter set it up, but I don't know how we're going to work that out just quite yet. But hey, we'll figure it out. It was fun putting those together, and I'm looking forward to doing more over the next few weeks. One of the things that we talked about last podcast that I did not bring the receipts for, that I wanted to talk about, was I mentioned the importance of weight in terms of performance, and how it matters how fast you go, especially. And I think the examples I said really were the bike and the swim. But today I want to focus on the bike, because today I brought the receipts. Today I brought the numbers. And again, if you're not watching, I hate to just throw numbers out there if you listen to the podcast on audio only. I am going to pop them up on the screen here for you guys who are watching on the YouTube channel. But, you know, the point that I was trying to make was that I did Ironman Lake Placid in 2017 and also 2019. I entered 2017 still kind of a cycling newbie. Didn't really know much about racing in terms of being on the bike. I've never did a bike race before. I had never done a bike race before. Ironman Lake Placid was my first bike race. I trained, but I did everything on my own. I measured my FTP, which is functional threshold power, a measure of bike strength, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I know there's more detail there, but let's just leave it at that. My bike strength, my FTP, was right around 200 watts, probably just shy of that. I think it was between 195 and 200, somewhere around there. I weighed my weight 200 pounds. So, fast forward that to 2019, I felt like I was in good shape. My bike strength, that FTP number, was up to about 225 watts. The thing was, I was about 23 pounds heavier. And my observation last week was that I think that even though I was a stronger cyclist, because of the hills that were out there, though carrying that extra weight, that 23 extra pounds, actually caused me to be slower. So I was a better cyclist, I was a stronger cyclist, but because I weighed more, I was slower than I was 2 years prior. Here are the receipts. These are actually the stats from my three full Ironman races, 2 of them in 2017. Ironman Lake Placid, which I did at 200 pounds, 7:57 was my final time. 112 miles. 2017 Ironman Maryland. Just a few months later, I'd gained a little weight. Shocking, I know. But, you set that goal, you achieve it. And then a few months later, I was just just did the race and I gained about 12 pounds. That course, flat as anything, right? There's no hills. 7:53. Not surprising that I was a little faster on a flatter course. Fast forward to 2019 when I did the Ironman Lake Placid again. Again, stronger cyclist, 23 pounds heavier, 8:44. So over a 45-minute difference. That is the difference between being in shape and out of shape in terms of just your weight. For me, those are the numbers. Not only that, I got a flat tire in Lake Placid and Maryland for that matter. Those first two races on the sheet, I got flat tires. So I got flat tires and I still beat my time from 2019 by over 45 minutes. So, it's hard to say, even though I was a stronger cyclist, the weight mattered. It's hard to say that the weight didn't matter is what I was going to say. The weight definitely mattered. And not only that, but it has me now so sort of motivated to lose it, to be not only at that 200-pound level for Lake Placid next year, but to be well through that. I think I was about 224 or 225 pounds now. I've been kind of hovering around that level. Again, I don't want to lose strength. I don't want to, I want to do this right. I don't want to lose strength. I'm not going to crash diet to get down to 170 pounds. I'm going to try to lose, 1 to 2 pounds a week, 5 to 10 pounds a month, and see where that gets me. Hopefully we'll be down to 180 pounds by race day next year at least. And then, geez, you think about that. So if I lose 20 pounds, I'll be at, I'll be 40, between 30 and 45 minutes faster. If I lose 40 pounds, hour and a half, how fast am I going to get? I am dying to see. I am dying to find out. And in order to do that, I just have to follow the steps, stay motivated, stay focused, don't eat like a dick. And we'll see how, again, this is all trying to just be, trying to prove to myself what I can do when I totally immerse myself in something, when I really, really put my mind to something. And it's been working. It's been working pretty well. I did get some more data. Let's take a look really quickly at some other data. My 70.3 races, 2019 Mont Tremblant, 225 pounds, which I think this race was sort of very similar to the race I did in 2 months ago at Chattanooga. And the timing, those courses were very hilly. No flat tires, 2 hilly courses. Tremblant was 339 and Chattanooga 337. So pretty darn close right there. Ironman Muscleman last year, I went in at 242 pounds. Heavy. That's the heaviest I ever entered a race, and it showed 348.47, really close to 349, rounding up. Again, Muscleman, a little hilly, but definitely not as hilly as Mont Tremblant and Chattanooga. So again, that's another spot where it shows. The weight shows. You carry that extra weight around, you are going to get slower. So I need to lose that weight. Finally, the last thing I wanted to check was because I got that flat tire in Lake Placid in 2017. I got that flat tire the second half of the race. So I wanted to go back and see, all right, well, I knew I went pretty hard for that first loop around Lake Placid. How fast I have been trying, in my 70.3s, I have been trying hard to break through that 3.5 hour mark, and it's been a struggle. I haven't really gone into a 70.3 under 220 pounds. It's been a struggle to get through that 3.5, and I haven't done it. So I wanted to see and go back and check to see what was my best 56 miles. So the first 56 miles of the 2017 Ironman Lake Placid. So I went back and I looked. And sure enough, 2017 at 200 pounds, I finished the first 56 miles of Lake Placid in right around 3:15. They measured at 55 miles and I was like 3:13 or something like that. So I kind of just averaged it. It's probably like 3:16, 3:17. So really well through that 3.5 hour mark that I can't seem to get through lately. And what's the difference? What's the one significant difference that I can point to is weight. And now I'm stronger and now I'm smarter and I have more experience. how fast can I go next year in Lake Placid? I am very anxious to find that out, and it just has me really motivated and really fired up to just behave. Just behave at the table and continue training. And let's talk about training, because I had a pretty solid week last week. Wednesday, I went to the pool. I had a pretty good swim. I followed that up. I feel like I did a run on Wednesday too. No, I did a bike on Wednesday night. We did a sprint workout. So Wednesday night, we have our Wednesday night Zwift challenges. It's through the club feature on Zwift. So if you're on Zwift and you want to ride with us, you can do that. You can ride along. We live stream all the rides. Come on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. It'll be some sort of challenging ride. Last week we did a sprint workout. All told, we put in over an hour. I actually wound up joining late because I had some issues with technology. But anyway, I still did over an hour of work total. Certainly a thwop workout for sure, and got some really solid sprint intervals in. We got like 6 sprint intervals in where you kind of went all out, and then you got some recovery time. Go all out, recovery time. It was a really good workout. Other sort of workouts this week actually upcoming. So tomorrow night we're going to be doing a race. It'll be a race around the Out and Back course in Watopia. It's like 25 miles. It's a significant course. It's not like a sprint race. It is a significant course. It usually takes me probably an hour and 20 to hour and 25 minutes to finish that course, but I don't really race it, although I do sometimes ride and keep everyone together mode with other people. It includes one climb, the volcano climb, so there's a little something for everyone. There's a lot of flat, and then there's one climb, and then there's more flat on the way back, and then to the finish line. It should take more than an hour, and at a racing speed, that is going to be a really solid workout, a really, really good workout. So something to look forward to tomorrow night. Last Thursday, we got our trivia ride in, 50 minutes on the bike. I followed that up with a little bit shy of 2 miles. It was a little disappointing with the distance on the run. But still, I got it done. Got the ride, really just a little mini brick workout. Felt good. Felt really good. I don't remember if I did anything Friday. I actually meant to look this up, and I can't really find anything. I think I might have taken a rest day Friday. Followed it up Saturday, strong Saturday. Saturday was long run day, which I haven't been doing a lot of long runs over the last few, really 2 years. I run Ordinary Marathon Channel. But I don't do long runs. Anyway, really the biggest long run I've done has been at Ironman Chattanooga 70.3. It was a half marathon. Really a lot of walking that day. And I want to kind of get back to that proper weekend long run format that when you're training for a marathon or a big race like that, you should be doing, or a 70.3. I really don't have a good sort of anchor for where that number should be, but I did have one thing, like a little extra motivating factor, which is on the Zwift run platform, which is my treadmill inside. There was one course left, the one run course that I haven't done yet, and that course, the mileage was 6.7 miles, which is a significant workout for me at this point in time. So I decided that would be my long run for the weekend. I did pretty much negative splits. If you actually saw the splits, there's a little bit of I think between mile 2 and 3 where it shows that I slowed down, but I didn't really. It's on my treadmill was on the same exact setting for those miles, but the run pod that's on my foot that connects to Zwift there's a little bit of a difference there from time to time. It's really kind of an estimate. It's usually pretty good. It's pretty close. And it's just a couple seconds off there that shows that I was not negative splits all the way through, but towards the end I did start I increased the speed on the treadmill for the last few miles just a little by little, and so the last few miles were significantly faster than the first few. Felt really good. Got my last badge there, a route badge it's called for Zwift, and felt good about that run. Sunday was long ride day, time to ride. I was going to ride outside, and I kind of didn't do that. Sort of a last minute change. I wound up sleeping a little bit later than expected, and I just had insomnia. It was really bad. I couldn't sleep the night before, and when the alarm rang in the morning, I was just like, I didn't want to take the bike off and throw it on the car to go to the path. I just wanted to get a ride in. So I invited a few people last minute. I do want to thank Glenn Jolly and Matt Shore for joining me. Matt made it all the way through the ride with me. It was a little over 2 hours, and man, it was a solid ride. I didn't take it easy. I kind of went after it pretty hard, a little over 2 hours. felt really good. Some climbing involved, felt really good. Another successful workout on Sunday. So, things are looking good. For Monday, 4th of July. So yesterday, 4th of July, my town throws this big parade, and we had a race for the second year in a row. They had a little race beforehand called the Freedom 4 Miler. Some nice alliteration there. Freedom 4. Although I guess really it's 4 miles probably for the 4th of July, right? Because you could do also the Freedom 5K. I would have went for the Freedom 5K. And besides, this race was 4.2 miles, guys. Jill and Tim, who run the race, they're the race directors over there. It was 4.2 miles. I don't care what you say. But anyway, I haven't done a lot of running outside. I haven't. And when you map the treadmill over to there, I'd say this. I'll just say it this way. I think there's 3 major differences for me that I notice when running indoors and versus outdoors. Number 1 is when I'm indoors, I do feel like that treadmill sort of, your foot hits and the treadmill's moving. It's moving. So it is helping you. It's aiding that sort of push off a little bit, right? It's giving you a little bit of aid. Now, some folks will actually adjust the incline up like 0.5 to 1% just to kind of take that into effect and try to cancel that out a little bit. I agree with that, actually. And I think I did, actually. I've been raising the treadmill either by a 0.5 degree or a full or 1%, whatever it may be. That's kind of all I've been trying to kind of add a little just to make it a little bit more like outside. But I do find that I can run faster on the treadmill indoors than outdoors, just doing outdoor running. Some of that also is just if you're not used to running outside, it doesn't mesh as well. So, once you get used to running outside again, the times, the paces will they'll match a little bit better. But when you're just running indoors on the treadmill, for sure, it's not the same as running outside. You have to the propulsion you have to use. It's 100% you when you're outside. You don't get that little sort of aid with your, you don't get that little propulsion aid from the treadmill. That's difference number 1. Number 2 is turning. When you run on a treadmill, you are straight plane, and your knees go up and down, your arms go up and down, your spine is up and down, it's straight. Everything is straight. Every step, hips are straight. There's no turning. There's no nothing. And I tell you, when you're outside, when you do that, when you train indoors all the time, and then you go outside, and then all of a sudden there's, make a left here, make a right there, make a left here, when you start doing that, you kind of realize, I'm getting old. I'm 48, and those joints, that's a little added stress and that I'm not used to because when I run on the treadmill, I don't turn, So when you make those turns, and listen, it's not detrimental to your overall time or anything like that. It's not slowing me down. My concern is injury, right? My concern is flexibility. If you're not doing a lot of stretching or flexibility actions or exercises, yoga, things like that, turning that's a point where you're subjecting yourself to possible injury. I certainly felt more stress on my knees as I turned, and it's because I don't turn. And when you don't do something, then you go out and do it. You're kind of putting yourself a little bit at risk. It's not. It's mostly, I would say, it's largely insignificant, but not completely insignificant. There is certainly a difference, and it did make me take note when I was out there racing the 4 miler yesterday. And then the third thing is hills. You run on the treadmill, and yeah, you could do some hill programs, or you can increase it, or you can. Do you really do that all the time? I don't. Do I just throw a random hill in there for no reason? No. But when you're outdoors running, you can't control where the hills. You can't control, other than choosing the route, which when you do a race, you don't choose it; it's chosen for you. You can't. You don't know. You don't know where they are. I mean, you might know where they are, but you're not. They're there. You have no choice. You have to go up them. You have to go down them. And that puts added stress on your joints and your muscles, your back, all that good stuff. And if you're not used to it, yes, it's just an added stress layer, right? An added stressor of the body. All that stuff made a difference for me. And all that stuff made me wishing that I was doing a little bit more training outside than I do. Because I hardly have done any training outside. I've done a little, but not a lot. How did the race go? I tried. I've been certainly running through for 4 mile run. I've definitely done a sub 10-minute pace over the last few weeks on the treadmill. So I was trying to hold on to that 10-minute pace Got through the first mile in 9:40 and felt really good. I wasn't checking my watch a lot. Here and there, I was just trying to get the pace down to see what I was doing, to see, making sure I was kind of around that 10-minute mark. And I wanted to kind of just feel for it a little bit instead of trying to make sure by staring at my watch the whole time. But I got to say, around 1.5 to 2 miles, I was starting to second guess why I did that. And I didn't, it's one of these things where this race right around mile 2.25, it goes through the parade route. It's about 1.5 miles from the parade route. And the just streets are lined with people waiting for the parade. The parade comes after the race. It's pretty cool, actually. It's a really good setup. It's a really fun race. It's like having a giant, it's like running the New York City Marathon in East Longmeadow, except for it's 4 miles and it's not New York. But, and they don't give you a medal after. But, there's a lot of people lining the side, a lot of high fives. I saw Steph and Ellie out there. I stopped for a moment, said hello. I love seeing Ellie on the course. It's really cute. And, I was struggling. I really, really struggled to maintain that 10-minute pace. I did. I think my final time was, by the way, yes, it was 4.2 miles. And as I was kind of like, I think my watch, it was 3.75 miles. So I'm like, all right, I only have a quarter mile to go. And I turn the last corner and I see the archway and it's like super far in the distance. And I know it's like a half a mile away and it was like a killer. But I struggled through it. 9:58 pace, I think, was my final time. I felt pretty good about that, being able to kind of maintain that 10-minute mile pace. And that's, it is what it is. Like that was my race. I felt okay about it. All right, it wasn't the greatest race. It is a wake-up call that I need to work on my running. It just is. It's a wake-up call that I need to work on my running, and we're going to be doing that a lot going forward. And then, the one thing that I also finished the race. I loved the race. The race was a great experience. It was definitely a wake-up call. There were moments of that race where I was struggling so much that I felt like, why am I doing this? Am I really doing this? Why am I, why? But then when you finish, you're like, all right, that's why I'm doing it. I achieved what I wanted to achieve, accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I feel good. Let's go enjoy the day. I saw Brian Rogers out there and his wife, Carrie. Carrie didn't run the race, but she was spectating. She gave me the donut. Recovery carbs. She didn't give me the donut. She took the picture. And, it's a good atmosphere. It's a good vibe. I really enjoy the racing community. I love being a part of it. So that part was good. The struggle in the interim during the race was tough. It really was tough. After the race, I started doing a little kind of self-examination and analysis. And what I can't really bring myself to think about, and I guess it's a little upsetting, we'll be open here, is how strong I've become on the bike over the last 2 years, while how weak I've become on the run, and really because I've been working on one and not the other. Now, if you work at both at the same time, my experience has always been that they will exponentially help one another. If you're working on the run and you're also doing the bike, your run will improve exponentially more than it normally would. If you're working on the bike and you're also doing some running, your bike will improve exponentially because you're running. It will help. But if you only do one, the other will suffer. And so that's been my last 2 years. That's the story of my last 2 years. In particular, I was thinking back to 2017 when I ran a half marathon. I did my half marathon PR at the Cheshire Half Marathon in Connecticut. And what sticks in my mind there was 13.1 miles. The pace that I ran was 9:05, something like 9:05. 9:05 miles. And that was a tough day, and I gave it everything I had. And it felt, but again, it's like that was a good race. Like if I gave everything I had in a good way, right? Yesterday I struggled a bit, and I still gave everything I had. So I felt really good, but I felt good in my effort, but I also felt bad in that my effort over 4 miles, so less than a third of the distance of that PR effort from 2017, I was a minute slower. I was practically a minute slower in terms of pace. And that's frustrating. That is frustrating when it comes to that. And I know I can be faster, and it's frustrating because I know that had I not let things go and had I just worked at it, I wouldn't be staring at that deficit, and I would be faster than that. I would probably be faster than 9:05 pace for half. Instead, I'm a 10-minute pace for a 4-mile race, and I got to build it back. And I will, and you'll see it. You will see it over the next few months. that being said, let's turn it over to this upcoming weekend. All right, this weekend is Ironman Muscle Man. Now, I did this race last year, and I came in at 242 pounds, something like that. Right around a little over 240 pounds. Didn't like the way I looked, didn't like the way I felt, didn't like the way I raced. Barely squeezed into my wetsuit. I'm going to give you sort of the rundown here from that race. I was a 48 and a half minute swim, which is the slowest swim I've ever done. We were kind of against the current. I didn't like that. I felt very uncomfortable. My slowest swim ever, 48:34. Followed that up with a 3:48 bike, which is pretty slow. I felt like it was hilly. It wasn't as hilly as Chattanooga or Tremblant. I felt like it was hilly. They've actually cut some of the hills out this year, so I should be faster. Maybe I'll break through that 3.5. I'm actually, I'm 6 or 7 pounds lighter than I was in Chattanooga. This is a not as much of a climbing course, so I feel potentially better and stronger going into this race. Maybe I'll get through that 3.5 hour mark. And then the run I did was about a 3 hour, just shy of 3 hour half marathon. My run in Chattanooga was 3:14. Honestly, I kind of took it easy there. I stopped to chat with some people. I was thinking that Stephanie was on the course and maybe I should wait for her and try to help her get through the finish line. And it turned out she never really made it to the run course, so she never wound up doing it. All that kind of melded together for that 3:14. So I do think I can be sub 3 hours, hopefully like a 2:50, 2:55. I'm kind of hoping to take my Chattanooga numbers and improve on each individual discipline by 5 to 10 minutes, if not 15 on the bike. That's the goal. We're going to see how well we do when we get there. It's going to be about getting there, putting the effort in. I got to be honest. I'm treating this a little bit more like a training day, like part of my training for Lake Placid for next year, more than I am an all-out race. I'm not tapering as much as I normally would. I'm going to be doing this race tomorrow night on the bike on Zwift. So I'm not really putting myself in the most advantageous place to perform at Muscle Man, but I'm looking at bigger picture here. And I still think I can perform at Muscle Man. It's just not, I would probably taper a little bit more if I was going for Muscle Man as like my A race this year. And is it going to have an effect? Maybe slight, maybe a little bit here and there. But overall, I don't think it'll be that much of an effect. I'll still go out there. I'll still work pretty hard and see how we do. Very excited about that. Look forward to seeing a bunch of good friendly faces out there. Joe Bartlett, Jim Simcoe, Jenna Austin, I think is going out there. Maybe some other folks that I've forgotten, or maybe other people are going out there that I'll see. Paul Faustini, maybe he was there last year. Matt, I don't know if Matt's going up to volunteer. I know he volunteered last year. But it was a fun time last year. Looking forward to another fun time. We'll give you the whole recap next week. Until then, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.